Hello and welcome back to another edition of SuperCoach Edge, and I am coming direct from overseas at the moment. We are going live just to compile all this so it's easier, so it's uploaded all together. But in Seminyak in Bali with my wonderful wife, who's currently reading at the moment across from me. She's giving me the eye, shaking her head. But even though the season has gone to shit, we continue on. Such is the adversity that we overcome. And Jono, you're watching us live, so credit to you, mate, because it is currently 1 a.m. in the morning back home. So thanks for joining us, mate. But yes, we are here to recap how we went in round 23, which in short is pretty shit. But let us have a look at that first up. So as you can see, they ended up scoring a 2,291. And there's a bit of context to that, and does feature a donut. But season rank, as you can see, I ended up sliding down 1,000 spots, 1,092 spots to now sit just outside the top 5K, 5,148th overall. So not too crash hot, but I don't really care because I'm on holidays at the moment. But let's go through the team line by line as usual. Sinclair was the 86. He was my last recruit for the season, my last trade. Held onto it for as long as I could, and needed to cover a couple of donuts, and only one of which I could cover. One of which was Sheasel. So being the higher price player, opted just to trade him out, get more bang for buck compared to English, who was the donut that I had to gobble up. I did have the option of trading him to Holler for a Marshall, but I thought, no, I'd go for Sinclair, and bit of a pod, and was hoping it was going to reap some rewards, but wasn't to be. Put the VC on him first up, and only an 86, so not too good really, considering that Marshall ended up having over a ton, but is what it is. That's just the way of the season, really. Ryan, a 68, he went back to being crap again. But yeah, I mean, off the back of a couple of nice scores to end the season, I thought maybe he's turned things around, but that wasn't to be. Dacos 116. He turned his form around a little bit, considering that he was in a little bit of a slump prior to the weekend, albeit one which was only sort of 66 against the Swans, but 116, not too bad. Everyone's got him though, so is what it is. McKercher 97 continued on quite nicely with his scoring, and just been an absolute pig in defence for North, which was good to see. Houston 115, which is respectable by his standards, and Wangan Miller as 79, which was below par for him. Has been one of the more consistent players for the season, and was probably his lowest score, second lowest score for the season by NWM. But he's kept us in good stead across the year, so can't shit-can him too much. Moving on to the midfield, Bontempelli was my captain, considering Sinclair failed with an 86, and a 123, not too bad. Was kicking myself a little bit because Butters was the other captaincy option, and didn't go for him, but it was 33 points difference there between Bont and Butters, but happy enough with Bont's 120 plus score at least as captain. Butters, as I said, 156, one of his best games for the season. Looked incredible, so yeah, really good to see there. Just padded his stat line. Tom Green 143, one of his biggest scores for the season by his standards. Hasn't really reached those heights for some time, not since round 15 against the Swans, so was a welcome sight to see. Merritt 74, well down on recent output, but yeah, he's high owned. So yeah, that's I guess his first low score around about that mark. It's pretty much actually his lowest score for the season, actually 74. I thought he had one lower, but prior to that was the 78 against the Cats in round 16. Nick Martin turned into joked pre-game with Liam that because he mentioned that he was training with the forwards, and there was a chance that he was going to start forward, and I said, oh, is he going to be a chance to transform into Plugger Lockett yet again? like last time when he kicked 4 goals, and lo and behold, he kicked the first 2 goals of the game, and he ended up scoring 135, and I think, did he score another goal after that? Yeah, 3 goals in total, so yeah, almost channeling that 4-goal performance that he had against the D's back in round 18. Sarong 105, yeah, he's kind of, he's declined since the midway point of the season. Rosie 96, just falling short of the ton, and Sammy Walsh 98, who's been a bit of a disappointment in his own right as well. But considering at the time it was either getting him or Dawson in the team from the Crows, I think they've pretty much been much of a muchness. They've both been pretty ordinary across the season. Yeah, one of those trades we'll have to look back through come next week when we recap the season, how crap it was. Recap, we might call it that, actually. But 98 was below par. Considering the opposition in the Eagles on the bench there, just shows the depth that I had is now non-existent. Dowling not playing, Breville also out, and Rawlinson the non-playing player. For the Rucks, Gorney, the 97, was a bit of a far cry from the previous week when he scored that incredible score of 177. Timmy English, he was obviously out. He was ruled out with an ankle. Copped a knock the previous round, and they had scans, and Bevo, being as cards close to his chest as normal, just said that the scans revealed some sort of damage. So we don't know the extent of it, which is pretty annoying because it does mean that there's no assurance really he's going to play in round 24, but we'll wait and see. So, I mean, we've already gobbled the donut. Why not make it two? Hopefully they're tasty enough. Kruger was not playing at R3. For the forwards, we have Flanders 120. Just good to see that he reclaimed his crown in terms of his ton run after a couple of down weeks. But yeah, even looking at that, he's probably one of the more consistent players. And I think you'd be hard-pressed to find another player that has only scored below a ton twice across the season. So tip of the old cap to Flanders. Zorko 108 and Heaney 117. Heaney played another good game again, but didn't hit the heights that he had the previous round. But good to see him have a nice bounce back at 117. And Rankin, so this just sums up, I think, the season for me. This bloke I held for the 4 weeks that he was suspended after he shirt-fronted someone. And such is the, I guess, the karma bus that came around, did the full 360 in a roundabout way, and ended up he was actually shirt-fronted by Houston and was subbed out of the game on 49. Now, the really bad irony of this is, obviously he was on the receiving end this time, but now also Houston is going to be copping a lengthy ban. So it means there's 2 guys that won't be playing in my team that I most likely won't have cover for. So there's just going to be raining donuts, I think, next week. So we'll have to keep you posted with that. But can't do much about it. Caldwell 102 and Jackson as well running us out with 84, which was disappointing considering that Sean Darcy was not playing and he was number 1 ruck, but everyone's got him, so not as if he was a pod. And then, of course, didn't help as well with Curnow not playing, considering that the ankle injury that he copped the week prior, and Richards, which I thought he was pretty unlucky considering that he was the sub. The previous round only played, 5 minutes, if that, and then was out of the team. So pretty stiff by McRae to do that to him. But, it just means that, we didn't really need him, but would have been handy at least to have some sort of player that we could have looped. But it is what it is. And, we're hoping that he's going to be playing this coming round because we're going to be fielding donuts across the park, I think. But that is that. In terms of VC and Cs, I haven't really had a massive look at it as yet, considering that I am on holidays and SuperCoach is the furthest thing from my mind at the moment. But just looking at it ever so quickly, Bont, probably an obvious one, coming up against the Giants, has scored pretty well against them in the past. And I think he played them early in the season. Scored 93, but prior to that, 101 and a 164. so does have a big score in his 3-game system against them previously. Butters is another one as well, who obviously scored well on the weekend. Faces Freo, who don't know if they're going to be using a run with play with him, potentially a young. Does have some nice scores against them historically. Scored a 130 back in round 5, and then a 129 and a 65 prior to that. Who else have we got here? Melbourne plays the Pies first up, so you could potentially put the VC on Gawn if you wanted to. Scored a 132 against them back in round 13, so he is someone that you could rely on potentially, and might be a nice little pod as well as a VC. Dacos is one as well. You would think that the D's, considering their season is done, they're not going to be using a tag in the form of Neil Bullen, but stranger things have happened. Scored a 64 against them last time around 13, and that was because he was being tagged by Neil Bullen, so was effective against Dacos, but prior to that, a 118 and a 112. First up, if you wanted to go down that route with Little Nicky. Sinclair's another one as well. Faces my Mobbit and Carlton, and scored a 99, a 105 and a 150 in his previous 3 against them. So he is an option. Tom Green is projected for a 122 according to SuperCoach Plus. Scored a 95, 135 and a 102 in his previous 3 against them. He's starting to sort of hit some nice run of form. In his previous 3, he's had 119, 119 and a 143. So could be someone that you lean on against the Dogs, who I think the Giants have already locked up the top 4 spot, but they'll probably want to consolidate things, and I think there is a chance they can move up further from where they are. So, yeah, that's something to play for them. Merritt against the Lions, I think it's a bit of a tough ask for him, but yeah, he's got a 95, 147 and a 117 against them previously. Flanders is another one. As I said, he's back in form against Richmond. A lowly opponent, scored a 124 back in round 0 against them, which feels like seasons ago now. Yeah, I think he's someone among these that I've mentioned that should be right up there. Considering that Gold Coast and Richmond playing the 3rd game of the round as well. So a relatively early VC, and what looks to be a safe one at that. So I think for me, I might put the VC on Flanders. And of course, comes down to if you're still in grand finals, or I should say if you progress through to your league grand finals, obviously have a look at your opponent's players, and if there is a bit of a pod and a strong pod of that that your opponent doesn't have, that you could use as a potential VC, like a Flanders, which I'm sure they already have, but using him as an example, you can whack the VC on him, and then if they don't have him and he goes large, then obviously that's an ace up the sleeve. So for me, I think I'll be going Flanders as the VC. And then in terms of the C, I think we'll probably lean back on either Bont or Butters against Freo. So I'll work that out. But yeah, I don't think there's anyone outside of those 2 that I would be overly keen on. As I said, in my case, I'm gobbling up donuts in the form of Rankin unless Kerne comes back. We'll have to wait and see. So that's definitely one. Hopefully English comes back. And then, of course, Houston, who I think I will be there's no way I can cover him in this case here. So at the very least, I'm going to be copying 1 donut, if not 2, maybe 3. But we'll see how we go. Probably going to have more players missing than what I am playing. Jono, you're still with us. You've said got the chocolates over Lamb. I did hear that, Jono, so well done to you, mate. I think he was a player down as well, so he gave you a bit of a shake, at least. Jono, Flanders is a shout versus the Tigers, you've said as well. 100%, mate. Totally agree there. Hopefully you did well on the weekend, mate, and you are still in some league finals from here. But yeah, as I said, this is kind of the end of the road for me. There's obviously one more week to go, but as you can see with the big 0 underneath the trade tally there, that pretty much summarizes where I'm at. Not much I can do So just playing out the season and seeing it till the end. Really, there's so many different content creators out there that have thrown in the towel, and rightfully so. Considering a lot of people are in the same boat where we've run out of trades, and the carnage that we've copped this back end of the year has been worse than last year and any other recent season. So totally understand, but I like to see things through, and we'll end up doing that. So this will be the second last entry here for my team talk, and we'll summarise things next week, obviously recapping round 24 and then recapping my season in short, of course, because no doubt the viewership and listenership for this entry and, of course, next week's one will be even lower. So we will still, as we pass the finish line, we will do so together. So hopefully we don't get any more injuries, but if we do, that's that. Johnny, you said Dylan Moore got me going to finish strong. I did hear, mate. He got you well and truly over the line. He had a mammoth game by the looks of it, and he was a bit of an ace up the sleeve for you, considering that Liam didn't own Dylan Moore. So well done to you, mate. But this is a very, very short one. I think just to stretch things out, we might just have a quick look at our cash leagues and our overall SuperCoach Edge Open League, which we will just do a bit of a quick look at now and recap as to who's sitting in the Iron Throne, as we call it. If you can find it here on screen, I think I've gone past it here. Here it is. So for the Legends Cup, of course, this is the Open League. Shev's Titans, who slipped, I think he was actually number one overall for a little while. He slipped back to 27, and as I said, such is the nature of the carnage that we're going through in the back end of the season. No surprise there, but he is still hitting and leading the pack for the Open League. So well done to you, mate. You are ahead by 132 points. Ahead of Always Hungry in second spot, and then Where Eagles Dare in third. And looking at our cash leagues, our SuperCoach Edge cash leagues, of course, on the weekend we had I Can Hardly Read, great team name there from Dan. He was victorious to the tune of 62 points over Export Daniel's team. And then, of course, we had our very own regular when it comes to our chats and live chat, I should say, on YouTube here. Jonas Goat, his team, Sloppy Joe Laying Pipe. He fell short of Hot Pies, Mitchell's team, who was victorious by 37 points. So Mitchell, Hot Pies goes through to face I Can Hardly Read. So it will be an absolute cracker, both of those guys. I Can Hardly Read in some really nice form, finished first as the minor premier, and then he faces Hot Pies, who finished in third spot. So both of those guys have earned their stripes. So well done to you too, and all the very best for the grand final. Then looking at the SuperCoach Edge Cash League number 2, and victorious was in finishing in fourth spot, I should say, Jake, his team. And we love this one. I Am the Captain Now. He ended up finishing with a what was the difference there of 138 or thereabouts? Quick maths, maybe off. But he was victorious over Zora Killer, Ryan's team, and then Isdon Is Good ended up finishing ahead of Tyrell's Hacks, and he ended up winning by 91 points. So he faces off Isdon Is Good up against I Am the Captain Now. So again, best of luck to both of you guys, and hopefully whoever comes out on top, or hopefully you can both put in a bit of a cracking match for both of the cash leagues. Outside of that, I think that is where we're at. I myself am in one grand final. Don't know how, but we'll see how we go, and we'll keep you updated with that. But outside of that, that is my team. So as always, if you have any comments, questions, which at this stage of the season, no doubt you won't, but any general comments, feel free to flick them down below. You can hit us up, of course, on Twitter at @supercoach_edge. Finally, myself there as well. Just want to give a quick shout out as well to JD from Fantasy Take TV, who ended up announcing today on Twitter, I saw it, that he's actually finishing up as a content creator in the SuperCoach and fantasy space the end of this season, which is a bit of a surprise because in terms of all the other content creators out there, he's one of the guys that I respect, and his methodology is very, very similar to my own, very analytical, and love the way he goes about it. So, bit of a shock there, but just want to give him a bit of a shout out, and congrats on everything that he's done across the seasons to date, both solo and with the Fantasy Take TV boys as well. So, tip of the cap to you, old mate, and be sure to give him the best of luck and well wishes on Twitter as well. But that is it, ladies and gents. And Jono, thank you for joining us as always, mate. Good support from you and everyone else that tunes in as well. Jono, you said here, thanks for the content. I appreciate your insights for this year. Can't wait to pick your brain for next year and coming years ahead. Well, thank you, Jono. And you, speaking of, I guess, supporters and stuff, you've been a big supporter of myself and Liam as well with the content that we've been putting out for this year. So I really do appreciate you jumping to the live chats and even on Discord as well, picking our brains and having a bit of a chat, bit of a yarn about SuperCoach and everything else as well, mate. So really, best of luck to you. And here we go. Here's Carl as well. You've said surging to the line. Well, no, I am crawling to the finish line, Carl. As you can see, I'm copping donuts left, right, and centre. So it's a bit of a funny one, and as you can see, I'm just absolutely cooked when it comes to SuperCoach. It always happens as well with anyone playing SuperCoach, but content creators and stuff as well, because I think this is the 64th, I think, bit of content that Liam and I have put out in total. So it does tend to wear you down as you naturally get towards the back end of the season. And as you've said there, Carl, you're a funny man, mate. Winners never quit, workers never win. Shea Bolton never puts in a second effort. The circle of life. I was surprised as well with good old Shea Bolton. And as it's turned out as well, apparently, that his manager came out and said that he actually hasn't requested a trade. So I don't know where this is coming from, but probably says to me that Richmond want to get rid of him. And yeah, totally agree. He's one of the bigger downhill skiers, I think, when it comes to players of his ilk. Good sort of cherry on top type player, but not so much a player that can put in sustained efforts from week to week. And you said Cripps superhuman for your boys on the weekend. One of the best leaders going around. Yeah, he was incredible. One of the better games by him. And the old saying, Chris Judd 3 votes. Pretty much apply that, I think, to Cripper as well. I'll be expecting to see him with a second Brownlow medal around his neck after the votes are already out for that game on the weekend come Brownlow night. So, yeah, it was incredible. So, really, really great to see as a baggers man. But if you owned him as well in SuperCoach, you'd be super happy because I think he scored it was 130 odd or something like that. So, yep, can't complain with that. But again, Carl, thank you as well, mate, for joining us. You've been a great supporter of ours as well. Likewise, everyone else that's tuning in here on the podcast side of things as well. But with that, we'll leave you with, I guess, Liam and I, we're trying to get out an episode for this week. So we'll see how we go. It may come later in the week. We'll have to bear with us in terms of time differences and trying to work out a bit of time on both our ends to do it. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Otherwise, I will sit back and enjoy some, I'll say bintangs, even though I haven't even drank one bintang here in Bali, but just for the sake of it. And I'm not wearing a singlet either that says bintang. But with that, ladies and gents, we will leave you there, and we will catch you in the next one. And a bit of a final comment there from you, Carl. You said Moya's goal, one of the all-time first snags. Incredible. He was channeling his inner Fev, I reckon, with that back heel. I think it was against Essendon, which was a really great snag. So good to see him get his first goal as well. Absolute gun in the making. And you've said enjoy September action. Well, hopefully we'll have to wait and see how we go after this weekend, Carl. But all the best to you, mate, and all the best to everyone that is tuning in. Until next time, we will catch you then. All the best. See you. Bye.